Some instruments of truth, through no fault of their own, become targets. Not because they are destructive, but because their very function exposes what others prefer to keep hidden. A bright light offends the eyes accustomed to the dim, and an honest measure is a menace to the crooked dealer. Such is the nature of utility when it stands in the way of convenience, or worse, profit. The world rarely thanks the one who reveals the rot, preferring instead to blame the mirror. A small, brass key, polished from years of diligent service, resided on a sturdy hook in a woodshed. Its purpose was singular, to secure a heavy iron lock on the dry stores. The lock itself, a bulky, archaic mechanism, had known only the key's crisp turns, a clean click, and the sturdy thud of a door closing or opening. There was no argument in their function, only an understanding of mutual purpose. The key enabled the lock, and the lock justified the key. Then came the rust. Not a sudden, aggressive burst, but a creeping, insidious film that began at the lock's most vulnerable joints. At first, it was a subtle orange blush, easily ignored. But the rust was patient, and it was hungry. It began to seize the lock's internal mechanisms, binding the tumblers, making the once smooth rotation of the key a grinding effort. One morning, the woodcutter, a man of few words but sharp observation, grunted as he tried to open the shed. The key, after several strained turns, refused to fully engage. The lock remained stubbornly shut. "What's the meaning of this?" the woodcutter muttered, rattling the lock with exasperation. He didn't direct the question at either implement, but his frustration was a palpable weight. The key, feeling the strain, vibrated with indignation. "It's the rust! It clings to everything, binding the gears. I cannot move freely." The rust, a patchy, scabby presence now, stirred within the lock's core. Its voice was a dry, scraping whisper, like sand over stone. "You speak as if I am the problem. I merely exist. Your frantic turning is what causes friction, what scrapes away the surface. I am a natural progression. A return to the earth." The lock, groaning, managed to reply. Its internal workings were now stiff and unyielding. "I was perfectly content. My duty was simple. Now, every attempt to turn you, key, is agony. The rust, it makes me feel solid, unmovable. And that, in its own way, has a certain power." The key tried again, straining against the unseen resistance. "You are meant to open. To secure, yes, but also to yield. Without me, you are nothing but dead weight. And without you, I am just a pretty trinket on a hook." "Exactly," hissed the rust. "Without me, you both are just part of a cycle of use and wear. With me, there is stasis. A quiet dignity. No more constant turning, no more being pried apart. Just rest." The lock considered this, its inner mechanisms now almost completely seized. "He makes a point, key. This constant back and forth, it's exhausting. Perhaps being unyielding is a form of purpose in itself." The key, realizing the futility of argument, twisted one last time with all its might. A small, metallic ping echoed, and a tiny piece of its brass tip snapped off, lodging irrevocably within the lock's rusted depths. The shed remained sealed. The woodcutter, after a few more futile attempts, simply fetched an axe and broke the door down. The key, now incomplete, was tossed aside. The lock, forever fused with the rust, became a permanent, silent fixture on the splintered wood, a monument to immobility. This narrative mirrors the real-world conflict between transparency and entrenched corruption. The key, representing honest utility and truth, becomes ineffective not because of its own flaw, but due to the insidious presence of the rust, which symbolizes deceit and stagnation. The lock, initially designed for honest function, becomes complicit with the rust, finding a perverse comfort in its newfound immobility, preferring a state of solid dysfunction over the friction of truth. The rust, in its dry irony, positions itself not as an antagonist, but as a natural order, a return to the earth, justifying its corrosive influence as a form of peace. The ultimate outcome, destruction of the system, is a blunt consequence when the mechanisms of truth are obstructed by the forces that profit from their hindrance, leaving all parties ultimately worse off, or simply irrelevant. Even the most honest tool is rendered useless when its function threatens the comfortable decay of others. Some prefer immobility to exposure, and they will always find a way to justify the rust.